we have 3 that are competing in our 3-minute pitch for our post-bac and master's level students and professional students. And then we have 14 that are competing as our 3-minute thesis students. So, I'm going to tell you a little bit about 3-minute thesis and how all of that works. So, we didn't just make up the 3-minute thesis. It's actually a whole thing. And it was at first developed by the University of Queensland. And it's basically where you have 3 minutes to present a compelling oration on your thesis and its significance. So you're going to hear some great stories and some great presenters talking about their research. And they only have 3 minutes to do it in. It's really hard to compact 3 to 5 to 6 years of work in 3 minutes time. But these folks are up to the challenge and have taken on that challenge. Very cool. So this started in 2008, and the rules are they only have 1 single static slide, which means it can't have any animations. Nessa will be running through it, okay? No transitions, and as soon as they start talking, we're going to start the timer. Charisma is my timer today. You will see that she will have a sign up when there's 1 minute left and when there is 30 seconds left. There is an X on the floor too for our videographer. If you want to be at that X, that's fine. If you want to be walking a little bit more, that's fine too. It's all good. It's up to you, okay? All right. No additional electronic media, which means you won't hear a soundtrack to their slide. Sorry. There's going to be no additional props, which means they could not come here dressed like a beta cell. It's not a thing. Sorry. And they are limited to 3 minutes, okay? And so if someone exceeds 3 minutes, our timer person lets our judges know so that they can be properly penalized, okay? They won't be disqualified, they'll just be penalized. All right. Presentations are to be spoken word, so no one will come up with their poem, rap, or song. And they're going to commence from our stage. Yes. Presentations are considered to have started as soon as they start, okay, through movement or speech. So, presenters, remember, when you say whatever you're going to say first, we're starting the timer, all right? And then we do have a judging panel, and what the judging panel says is final, all right? Don't go harassing my judges afterwards. Thank you. All right, there are lots of international competitions, and then, of course, we have our campus competition here. Lots of schools have their own campus competitions, and this is pretty cool because even when our winners from our campus competition go to a next step and compete in the next step. So that's really neat and very cool to see that this person is going to represent our campus at another event. All right, so they're all over the world. The judges are going to judge folks on comprehension and content. Did the presentation to help the audience understand the research? Was the thesis topic and its significance communicated in language appropriate to an intelligent but non-specialist audience? All right, so everybody in this room ought to be able to understand what the presenter is talking about. And the other part is engagement and communication. Did the oration make the audience want to know more? Did the speaker have sufficient stage presence, eye contact, and voice range, maintain a steady pace, and have a confident stance? Confident stance. Have you been practicing in the mirror? Confident stance. That was my superhero pose. All right, we have some fantastic, wonderful, amazing judges today. They have provided their brief bios, but I'm not going to read all of it. But just know that they're awesome, right? So we have 2 past winners, Reverend Shonda Nicole Gladden, who is now a specialist for the Multicultural Center and Social Justice Education. Yes, you can clap. Clap for that. With our IUPUI Multicultural Center, soon to be Dr. Shonda Nicole Gladden. Yes, we claim that, and it's fantastic. Soon to be Dr. Gladden is the mom of a high school scholar. She's a specialist for our multicultural center. She's one of 2 pastors at Broadway UMC. She is the founder and CEO of Good to the Soul. She does a whole lot of stuff. She was our past winner this last year. So hopefully you took a look at her YouTube video and how fantastic she did. She represented us at the Midwest Association of Grad Schools conference last year and did a fantastic, phenomenal job. And she was the only finalist that was from a behavioral science. Everybody else was from those STEM fields, right? The only finalist that was from behavioral science. I'm just so proud. All right, Dr. Thani Chingeli. Yes. Program Management Specialist in the Department of Pediatrics. Also a past 3-minute thesis winner. Yes. I like to be able to bring our winners back. They know what winning looks like, so. So very cool to be able to have them here. Dr. Chingeli recently received her PhD in biochemistry and molecular biology right here from the School of Medicine. Her research centered on the inflammatory signaling pathways involved in pancreatic cancer and cachexia. And I only learned that word because she said it so many times during her 3-minute thesis. So, during her graduate career, she served as the president of Up and Go, a grad emissary. She was our 2020 winner, and she's doing great work in the Cancer Center and in the Department of Pediatrics now. So we're super excited to be able to have her here and judging today. Fantastic. Dr. Jamaica Piper, one of my favorite librarians in the whole world. So much fun. And I really say that truthfully because whenever we have anything that is involved in the library, I call her first. And I'm like, so, we need help. And she's always willing to help, and I love that. So she is a humanities librarian here at the IUPUI University Library. Everybody knows that you have your own subject area librarian, right? Yes. Have you been using them? No. Yes. All right. Get on them. Get on them. Please use your subject area librarians, okay? They can be super helpful to you. While studying at the University of Iowa, she taught rhetoric from 2010 to 2015. In the same time period, Dr. Piper tutored in the University Writing Center, and she works a lot with our University Writing Center folks and helping us with some of the projects and presentations that we do. Assisting both grad and undergrads from first-generation rural and international backgrounds with navigating the academic writing process. While she is humanities focused, she is accustomed to working with students from disciplinary fields, all of them. And last year, she began working with grad students from the School of Education. These students were anywhere in the writing process from pre-comprehensive exams to finalizing their dissertation, and she assists them with developing their writing, preparing for the core faculty's responses, navigating feedback, and finding and organizing information. And that is why you need a librarian in your life, okay? All right, let her change your life, okay. So we're super excited to see our judging panel. And a lot of you I know have signed up because there's an opportunity to win prizes. What? Yes. Now, I don't have no checkbook out today. It will go to your Burser account. They do not let Dr. Hardy write checks and distribute them on the day of the competition. I'm sorry, y'all. Okay. All right. So with our 3-minute pitch, our first place winner is going to win a $300 prize. Yes, $300 for 3 minutes of work. Okay. Second place, or our runner-up, is going to win a $200 prize. But everybody in this room gets to help out with our People's Choice Award. And the People's Choice Award for our 3-minute pitch and our 3-minute thesis, they will both win $200. All right. So these are your favorite presentations. The people you like the most, the ones that you were like, yes, okay. So you get to choose and select them, all right? With our 3-minute thesis, our first place winner wins $500, and will represent IUPUI at the Midwestern Association of Graduate Schools annual conference, which is in Chicago this year. And we feature them in our grad chat. We feature them on the website. You can tweet it on your Twitter page, put it on your Instagram, send it to your friends and your family and say, look, Mom, I made the website. It's amazing. And our runner-up also wins $300. We usually feature them too. We also usually feature our 3-minute pitch winner as well. So lots of things to look forward to today, including the revelation of our winners. I know. So dramatic. We want to thank our sponsors, of course, the IUPUI Grad Office, which is now the IUPUI Grad School, right? We are a whole school now. We're super excited. The Graduate Mentoring Center, and you'll hear from a presenter in just a few minutes from our Grad Mentoring Center. Our 1 o'clock speaker is working in collaboration with them. Up and Go has given us some sweat equity, and also all of our fall decor came from Up and Go fall receptions. We just kind of swiped their stuff. So we thank them for co-sponsoring, and our graduate emissaries for student diversity, the moderators that you've seen, and they've also put in some sweat equity this morning too in helping us set up. Thank you guys for letting me call on you whenever we need to. All right, so it is that time. You should see on the back of your agenda a list of our presenters today. Say what? Let me find this agenda. Yes. All right. This is the order of our presentations. The agenda. Yep, that one. There you go. All right, this is the order of our presentations, and we're going to start today with our 3-minute pitch. Folks, Kate's going to start, and her title is Are New Dentists Prepared for Clinical Practice? A survey of the clinical abilities of new dental graduates in the U.S. military.
Every May, 7,000 individuals walk across the stage with lilac hoods, and they receive their doctorate in dental surgery or their doctorate in medicine and dentistry. They apply for and receive dental licenses in their respective states, and they enter the workforce. They're ready to fight decay, brighten their patients' smiles, and they are officially licensed to drill. These individuals have completed surveys as they graduated dental school saying that they're confident that they can meet all of their patient needs. We have more seasoned dentists with a little more anecdotal evidence that feel like maybe these new dentists are not quite as prepared as we would hope. My research is looking at the 200 individuals who joined the Army, Air Force, and Navy in order to pay back their time for dental scholarships. They come from schools across the country and are a cross-representation of what dental education looks like in America. My research will be sending surveys to these new dentists, as well as their clinical supervisors, 6 months after graduation, where they can complete a self-evaluation, as well as their supervisors can complete an evaluation on where they fall in their competency level of preparedness for 20 different basic filling and preventative procedures. I'm using a modified Dreyfus scale of skill acquisition, where individuals can select whether they are a novice, where they only have didactic understanding of a clinical procedure, whether they're a beginner, where they can meet the clinical procedure needs with the aid of a mentor, if they're competent and can complete the procedure by themselves, if they're proficient and even when challenges are thrown into the procedure they can complete it, or an expert where they're teaching others. This narrative scale also allows individuals to find a pathway in their development for skills. My research is going to allow the military to see the status of the new dentists that are entering the workforce, and they can make adjustments to training protocol to make sure that their new dentists can meet all of the needs of their sailors, soldiers, and airmen. Also, the dental profession as a whole is interested on what is the status of these new dentists 6 months after graduation. Are they really meeting the patient needs that we expect them to? So both predoctoral and postdoctoral programs are interested in the levels of the competence or preparedness of these new dentists. As a lieutenant commander in the Navy, I am very interested in knowing what the status of the workforce that's entering the Navy, Army, and Air Force, and I want to be able to make changes and make them stronger professionals so that the patients are receiving safe practitioners that are drilling on them. Thank you for your time.
Great job, Kate. Thank you so much. All right. Next we'll have Barakha Jain. And Barakha is going to come and talk to us about the development and evaluation of a special care tele-dentistry OSCE involving visually impaired patients.
So, good morning everyone. So before I get started, I want to ask a quick question, and please do raise your hands if it's a yes. So how many of you here understand what tele-dentistry is? Alright, I just see like few hands being raised, so no worries, I'm here to make it simple for you. So let me break down the word tele-dentistry first. So tele means telecommunications and dentistry means a dental expert. So it is a video conferencing technology that is being used by dentists to provide treatment to patients over a distance. So let me tell you an interesting fact, which is being dated back to 1994, where there was a first known use case of tele-dentistry, where dental care was being provided to soldiers who were like in a remote location using tele-dentistry. So you see how intense and extensive it is. So despite of its wide usage by the soldiers, by the rural individuals, by urban individuals, there is still a setback for patients with special needs, especially the visually impaired individuals, to use tele-dentistry. So that's where my study kicks in, to understand and analyze the gap, to understand why there was a setback for patients with special needs. So we performed a simulation study that involved a visually impaired patient and also a dental student. So this was being done in two phases. One was an in-person simulation and the other one was virtually through tele-dentistry. So in this simulation, what happened, as a visually impaired patient was assessing the communication skills of a dental student. So why just a communication skill? Because when we are connecting virtually, it's important to have a human-to-human connect through a virtual platform. So in this assessment, they had a 15-item checklist, which included questions like, was the dentist enough sensitive to their needs? Was the dentist respectful for their concerns, and also was enough empathetic to them? So based on our study, we understood that the outcomes were that with the use of tele-dentistry as a communication, what happened is that there is like very less communication happening, and there is not so clear explanation between a dentist and also between visually impaired individual. And there was also a lot of overgeneralization of the needs. So that's where that was the setback, and that was where the gap. So the takeaway from my study was, so that we can create some academic changes for the dental students, so that we can prepare this dentist of tomorrow to not just use tele-dentistry, but actually to create a human-to-human connect through tele-dentistry. So that's where we have a communication with compassion as a need for dental students. So thank you.
All right, and rounding out our trio is Rieanna, McPhie, and she's going to talk about, does being religious protect against problem substance use, religiousness, and sexuality?
According to a national survey done in 2021, it was found that 22 million people in the United States suffer from substance use disorder. Well, what are some factors that can protect against problem substance use? We know that having strong and meaningful connections with family or friends are helpful, that also having purpose in life or doing good in academia also helps. Another factor that is not often discussed that I would like to tell you today is being religious. Being religious has been found to protect against problem substance use, but only for heterosexual individuals. when we know this is interesting because we know from research that sexual minorities, often referred to as LGBTQ+ individuals, have higher substance use disorders, and because of that, they tend to use frequent substance use compared to their heterosexual peers. So, to fill this gap, I was interested in looking at the relationship between religiousness and substance use, particularly alcohol use, cannabis use, and other substance use among different sexualities to see what are the differences and what are the relationships that each of these substances and sexualities have between each other. So using a secondary data analysis with a sample of 1,588 young adults between the age of 18 and 35, we found quite interesting results. If you look on this side, the blue line is heterosexual individuals. So what we found was consistent to past findings that for cannabis use and other drug use, the more religious these heterosexual individuals were, the less use that they had. Unfortunately, for sexual minorities, particularly for homosexual and bisexual individuals, which are represented by the red and green line, the more religious these individuals were, a significantly higher substance use they had across the border, cannabis, alcohol, and other drug use. So what is the takeaway? It's that, unfortunately, sexual minorities who are religious have risk of developing higher substance use disorders. Well, what can we do? What I ask you today is that as researchers and future researchers like me in psychology, public health, and social work look into these specific factors of risk and protective factors that can help these individuals, that if you know someone who identifies as a sexual minority and is religious and may be suffering because of those two identities, please reach out. Please provide help, because religion is not supposed to be a risk factor for health. It's supposed to be a vessel for healing and providing community. Thank you.
Great job. So much to think about and so much great resources. All right, so this is your time. You have the opportunity to vote on the top, your choice. All right, so pull out your phones, use this QR code. You can only vote once. Thank you. It won't let you vote again. And choose who you feel is your people's choice. Give you a few minutes. All right, so we're gonna pause for the cause and a commercial break. If you are looking for professional development opportunities, join us in the Preparing Future Faculty and Professionals program. What is PFFP? PFFP is your opportunity to figure out what you want to do. That's exactly right. It gives you a wide range of workshops that you can go to, that you can participate in, that are based in teaching, research, service, and organization. You can do it on your own timeline. You don't have to finish it all in one semester. You can finish it over several years, over 1 year. It's really up to you. It's completely free for you. All you have